So, my name's Matthew Jones. I'm 17 years old, and my experience with depression is it's a bit like recovery. Like you don't ever really get over it. You just find ways to deal with it. You know, you take every day as it comes, and something bad happens, and it's like you either fall back into the cycle of feeling depressed, same way you either fall back into getting alcohol, drugs, or whatever, you know, the vices really of addiction. And yeah.
So in what way do you think causal depression?
So, I mean, like, you know, it's a complicated one, because on one hand it's self-inflicted, but then on the other hand it's sometimes things we can't stop. Like personally, the first time I fell into it, I was isolating myself. It was really my own fault. And then now the way I feel is every now and again I get depressed. But that's just due to addiction and issues and that. And it's, you know, like, it's because I know what true, like, well, not true happiness, but I know at any time I can just get something, you know, a spliff, coke, anything really, and it'll just cheer me right off. Any time. But that's the thing, I have to live this, you have to live this life, and it's so naff and boring, and it gets you depressed because you know what actual enjoyment feels like and happiness, and you're going, what's the point? You know, you get a job, you work from 9 to 5, you know, and then something happens and you go, wow, why don't I just, what's the point? You know, and you just give up on yourself. And that's partially part of the problem, really. It's you end up giving up on yourself, really, when you feel like this, because you just say, well, what's the point? Like, you aim for something, you don't get it, and you know, it's so much easier to, rather than say, well, I'm going to keep at it, you just go, well, what's the point? And just give up with everything.
So what have you done to make yourself better and combat your depression?
So it's like, you've got to view it from, you sort of need a kicker to begin with, something to tell you, like, you know, the reason your life is crappy, or you view it as crappy in any ways, it's the way you're viewing it, really, and it's the way you view yourself, truly. Because a lot of people who fall into the cycle are blaming. They're so obsessed with you know, ending it all, hurting themselves, and yet when they talk about what the problem is, they always externalise it. It's always someone else's fault. It's that person. Oh, it's that. And the way I dealt with it, and I mean, I still feel certain ways at times. I mean, who doesn't? But I wake up, and what I do is I wake up, I do 20 push-ups. You know, exercise helps. And exercise alone is not just going to cure it, but it's about the way you view yourself. And once you have a more positive image of yourself, you start to realise that a lot of external things don't really matter, you know. And to a certain point, you have to be very selfish, because you know, you go down this path of you have to want to get better, and you have to be as selfish as possible in that. And so when someone's as selfish as possible, we're happy to label them as a cheat, a liar, a scumbag. And then, but fundamentally, you know, maybe that's true, but really, in the term of recovery and getting better, is how far is one willing to go to actually get better? And is there a point where it becomes morally wrong? Is there a point where it's bad? And to be honest, I'd say there's certain lines, but a lot of what people view as bad is down to how you want to view it, really. And so, yeah, that's it, really. You know, you can. I deal with it by exercising, you know, maintaining positive image, and just basically taking every day as it comes, not becoming not internalising things, talking about them, trying not to isolate myself, not being alone, surround myself with people who care, and if I feel like there's no one who does, find someone who does. And yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's one of those things you never truly get rid of. you know, you'll always have that self-doubt at the back of your mind, but the question is, how do you energise that self-doubt into bettering yourself, really?
I'm Sam Brown and I'm 18, and from depression in secondary school. I've been bullied in secondary, which caused a bit of it, and mostly the school itself, as the teachers haven't been helping me in any way through the years within secondary when I've been there. I've always been asking for help, always trying to find ways of trying to get better, to improve my grades. Like English, I've been struggling. I was getting E's and D's in it. I wanted to pass my English, but I didn't get any help, and for some reason now I always find English boring, and during that, the bullying is why I was a bit struggling during that time. I didn't have no one to go to. Like, some of my friends would always try and make jokes. I tell them, don't do that, I know you want to have fun and that, but it just keeps going and going and hurts me inside. But when I go home, the only thing that makes me happy is video games. That's what I went into after all the stress and during depression. The people there online, on the online community, I would say, helped me out a lot, because the people I've met, the people I've talked to, have been nearly through the same situation I've been through. People have been through schools that they thought were good, but they turned out to be crap, not helping at all. They've been bullied. They've been through loads of things, the people that I've met, and they've been supporting me through the years that I've been in secondary to now, and I couldn't thank them at all. I couldn't thank them. It's amazing how the gaming community helps a lot, even though people think the community is like toxic and that, but there's always good people out there. I even met someone online who I have a close relationship to now, and I care for her, she cares for me, and it's how it is now. The place is changing, the whole world is changing, how people meet up and that, and that's how I went through depression, how I got out of depression. Even though during that time I even thought of killing myself twice, by hanging myself, trying to strangle myself to death. But I always had that thought of the people who I spoke to in my head, knowing that they would be upset missing me, and I'd be upset missing them. So I just kept on going forward for them, so I can have a better life and they can be happy, knowing that they have helped me with all their strength they had.